In this class on Python OOPS, we will learn about objects and classes. So what is a class? A class is a logical entity that has some specific attributes and methods. So what do we mean by that? A class having some specific attributes and methods. So let's understand it with the context of an example. So here we have declared a class named student, and this class has two attributes, name and age. And what we can do is we can print student.name and student.age. So this is a class with two attributes, name and age. And when we print them, what will get printed is Jack and the age of the student, which is 24. Let's look at another class. So this is a class course. This class has how many attributes? 1, 2, 3. So this class has 3 attributes, and the name of the attributes is name, tech and duration. And now when I print it, print course.name, what will get printed is perfect Python. When I print course.tech, what will get printed is Python. And when we are saying print course.duration, so what will get printed is 2. So here we have declared a class named course which had 3 attributes. Now what is an object? So a class, like we saw, is like a blueprint or a prototype which defines the attributes and methods. Objects are instances of the class. So let's understand this in the context of the class student. So the class student defined the attributes of the class. So the class student, which is this definition, defined the attributes of this class, which was name and age. And what we can define is we can have many students. So in any school or college or any educational institution, there are many students. So we can define many objects or students which are instances of the class. So which will behave as the blueprint or the prototype has been given. So let's understand this with another example. So here we have the same class student with name Jack and age 24 has been initialized. And now we are creating a student st1 is equal to student. So this is the first thing we are doing. And we are saying st1.name is equal to Tim and st1.age is equal to 25. So here we have an object named st1 of the class named student, and because the class had two attributes name and age, st1 also has two attributes, the object st1 name and age. And how do we use them? st1.name, and we have assigned this, in this case, the name Tim, and st1.age is assigned 25. Now when we print them, what will happen? So first let's say what will happen here. So we have st1, which is a class of student, and so we could write it something like this. So it is a class object of type student, and what are the values in it? Tim and 25. These are the values st1 is now having. Now when we say print st1.name, so what will get printed? Obviously Tim will get printed. And when we say print st1.age, what will get printed is 25. Now let's look at another example. So we had this output the previous time, Tim and 25, and what we had was st1 was a student, an object of the class student, and it had the values Tim, 25. This is what we had the last time. Now let's see if we are creating another student. st2 is equal to student. So when we create st2 is equal to student, and then we are saying st2.name is equal to Julia and st2.age is equal to 22. So what would st2? st2 is again a student, and the values it has is Julia and 22. So those are the attributes. So name of st2 will be Julia and age of st2 will be 22. Then we are saying print st2.name. So what will get printed? st2.name, which is Julia, and when we are printing st2.age, what will get printed is 22. So notice here we were able to construct two objects of the same class which had the same attributes but very different values. So that is the purpose of classes. So once we have defined a class, we have set the blueprint or the prototype, and we can create many objects which can store different values. Let's look at the same example in the context of the class codes. So in the class codes, we are saying C1 is equal to codes. Now when we are saying C1 is equal to codes, so notice what will happen here. So C1 is of type codes, and when we create codes, so what will happen? Name is perfect Python, the values we have defined, then Python and 2. So these are the values we have for C1. So now when we print C1.name, so what will get printed is perfect Python. Then when we are printing C1.text, what will get printed is obviously Python. And when we print C2.duration, it will be 2. Now we are creating a C2, which is a new object of the class course. So let us create C2. And we are giving it the values. So after it's been created, so first line when it will be created, it will have the same values which we have assigned here. So this is how C2 will look like when it gets created. Now in this line we are saying C2.name is equal to Django. So the name gets modified to Django. The tag is same, so it is Python, so it gets overwritten with Python only, and duration is 1. So this is how C2 now looks like. And then when we say print C2.name, what will get printed is C2.name is Django, then C2.text is Python, and C2.duration is 1. So this is what will get printed on the screen. So this is how we use classes and we define objects and use them.